This afternoon, we got the first indication of the Black Sea Initiative, which is intended to set the scene for a ceasefire across the Black Sea. The White House was the first to release a statement announcing the agreement. And these are some of the main points. So first, they have agreed to ensure safe navigation. Secondly, the United States will help restore Russia's access to the world market for agricultural and fertilizer exports. Thirdly, they will enhance access to ports and payment systems for the Russians for such transactions. And of course, there are lots of sanctions being lifted in these last two clauses. Good for the Russians. And fourth, they will develop measures to ban strikes against energy facilities. They won't ban strikes immediately. They'll develop measures to do it at some time in the future. Now, if Russia's conditions are met, the ceasefire will take effect in the Black Sea. And in the Black Sea, you can see here that the Ukrainians actually have done really very well. They have actually chased the Black Sea fleet, Russia's Black Sea fleet, out of Sevastopol, the deep water port, and they forced most of their fleet back to Novorossiysk in Russia proper. And so they've controlled the western part of the Black Sea. Ukraine even sank the Russian flagship, the Moskva, in April 2022. They've actually destroyed 24 Black Sea Fleet ships, and that's about a third of the fleet. Before the war, the Black Sea was a key export outlet for Ukraine and for Russia. And this map shows the traffic in the region with the lighter lines indicating more vessels. But watch carefully to the west of Crimea. As the war went on, look at the vessel movements once the war started. You can see how they all avoided the area. It's a major impediment to trade. Now, a maritime route, shown in white here, was opened up as part of the UN agreement to ship grain from Ukraine out via Istanbul. That was the grain deal, but Russia pulled out of that in July 2023. Nevertheless, Ukraine adapted. Because they controlled the western part of the Black Sea militarily, they were able to open up a route that hugged the coast all the way down, and they were able to get a lot of their ships out in the last 18 months or so. And this graph of Ukraine's grain exports shows how they've rebounded since the war began. So there they are. There was the level of exports they had. There was a rise. There was a big fall immediately as the war began. And now they're almost back to where they were in pre-war levels. So the point is that this ceasefire precursor deal, which is all we can call it at the moment, is rather more favourable to Russia than it is to Ukraine. It will do Russia more good than it does Ukraine. And when we look at all the various details in this agreement, you realise that actually there is less to it than meets the eye. And what does meet the eye is not really very favourable to Ukraine. That's where we are this evening.